we're here with the Secretary of the Brisbane Astronomical Society, Dr. Ken Wishaw. Thanks for your time today.
My pleasure.
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and why light pollution is such an important issue to you?
Right, well, I actually have a medical background, but a particular interest in astronomy ever since childhood. It seems to have been in my family for 150 years or so. When I finished up in astronomy, in medicine, I actually thought that light pollution would be a great kind of environmental pursuit that I could go down, because I had a lot of knowledge there, and not a lot of people seem to be actually doing much about light pollution, because I think so many people don't realise it's a problem. And the more I go into it, the more fascinated I get by just what a problem it is and how easy it is to fix, and hopefully I can make a difference in that area.
Really interesting. So, what's light pollution like in your area?
It's quite variable. So on the coast, we have moderately bad light pollution. I'm on the Sunshine Coast, which is about 100 kilometres north of Brisbane. In Brisbane, it's quite severe. It's on a really good winter's night there, we can see in Brisbane perhaps 10 to 15 stars if we're lucky. On the Sunshine Coast, we can probably see a couple of 100 stars down on the coast where the urban area is. But the western 40% of the Sunshine Coast is actually a bowl protected by a small mountain range and actually meets dark sky reserve criteria. So we get right up into the 21.6s of sky quality, which means that we can see several thousand stars up there, can clearly see the Milky Way and all the dark clouds within the Milky Way. And that is very much what the council region wants to protect, potentially by going down the idea of a dark sky reserve in that area.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. Do you have, what kind of measures would you like to see introduced in your area?
Well, I think there are a number of things that we've got to work on. Firstly, streetlights are our number one problem here. We suffer from fairly old technology streetlights here on the Sunshine Coast. We're in the process of modernising those. The main thing is that the council here tends to only replace the old technology with good quality, dark sky compatible lights, whereas the main roads, which are owned by Queensland Government, tend to use lights that have a much higher blue content and contribute a lot to light pollution. Aside from the street lights, I think that we have a increasing problem, not only just from population increase, but also from the use of illuminated signs at night. From us going from, billboards, which we can potentially control, the way the light goes onto those, the LED illuminated signs, I think are becoming a much bigger problem. And we really have to come up with a lighting management plan here that specifically addresses lighting output and curfewing of illuminated signs.
Interesting. Off the back of that plan, what do you think that takes, and who does that involve for something like that to come into fruition?
The council here is very on side. Our council area is a UNESCO biosphere, and they are very green. They do actually have a urban lighting master plan. Unfortunately, it requires the cooperation of the Queensland Government, who have been quite against the idea, largely on the basis that old-style inefficient streetlights use a lot of electricity, and that's where they make their money from. Trying to go to more energy-efficient lights is something that Queensland's utilities don't particularly want to encourage, and trying to find a way through that is proving to be quite difficult.
That is fair. Do you have any examples of changes that have been made in your area?
Well, in the last 6 or 7 years, any new housing developments on the Sunshine Coast, the Sunshine Coast Council determine and own the streetlights, whereas previous developments, they're all owned by Queensland Government. And in all those areas, all the new developments, basically the council is only permitting 3,000 Kelvin fully shielded dark sky compatible streetlights. So one of our biggest areas here that's been developed on the southern area of the Sunshine Coast, even though there are 30,000 houses going in there, actually has the lowest light footprint across the entire coast. And I've been able to do helicopter surveys at night over that, and the difference is quite dramatic. We don't get any complaint from the people who are in that area about the lighting being inadequate. And I think that really reflects the fact that orange is the colour that our human eye is actually attuned to work best at night. All the extra blue content, which contributes to light pollution, actually doesn't add anything to our vision. So we actually have this win-win situation where we've got good quality lights going in new developments. The residents are happy with them, and us as light pollution people are very happy with them as well.
That is awesome to hear.
That's really cool. Well, thank you for speaking with us, and thank you for being such a great defender of Queensland's night skies.
My pleasure. Thank you.